This Saturday is National Threatened Species Day, so let's take a moment to reflect on some of the good threatened species news from the zoos. After the exciting rediscovery of the Victorian Grassland Earless Dragon last year, a conservation breeding program for these little lizards was set up at Melbourne Zoo. And it's been a very successful first breeding season, with 12 dragon pairings creating 49 precious offspring. A team of reptile experts is also studying their habitat and diet needs to ensure this rare species can thrive into the future.
This little dragon was thought by some, but not all, to be extinct, and they were only rediscovered last January in 2023. They're a critically endangered species, and now that we've found a population of Victorian Grassland Earless dragons, the recovery effort for this species really starts. People should be caring about all wildlife, but Victorian Grassland Earless dragons are an endemic species to Victoria, so they're only found here just outside of Melbourne. So they're Victoria's own little dragon, so I feel like they're a species that every Victorian should jump on board and help to protect and conserve for future generations.
In a world first, conservationists have successfully bred a Leadbeater's Possum Joey of mixed origin genetics at Healesville Sanctuary. A significant win in the race to save the critically endangered lowland population that has dwindled to only 34 possums. There are two distinct genetic groups of this elusive possum, lowland and highland. Threatened Species Life Sciences Manager Dr. Kim Miller says conservation geneticists at Monash University recommended forming mixed pairings to restore genetic diversity.
It's really important to introduce more genetic variation into lowland Leadbeater's possums. They currently only have about half of the genetic diversity of highland Leadbeater's possums, and they show really significant impacts of inbreeding. So inbreeding in that population is resulting in shorter overall lifetime survival of the possums and in overall lifetime fitness. So they produce fewer offspring in their lifetime.
It has taken years of dedication to reach this milestone, and the team is over the moon about the breeding breakthrough.
When we first saw the mixed origin Joey, or first had suspicions of it, we were in a little bit of disbelief. So we kept it to ourselves for quite a while, and then once the pouch started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it was really clear that Cass did have a Joey, and we were bursting with pride.
A boost for one of Victoria's faunal emblems, 30 helmeted Honeyeaters bred at Healesville Sanctuary have been released into the wild.
1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go.
Across 2 mornings in autumn, these critically endangered birds fluttered off at Yellingbo Nature Conservation Area and a forest near Warburton. They were released at 2 locations to help strengthen genetic diversity and reduce the risk of losing the species through bushfire or disease. Healesville Sanctuary keepers said it was incredibly rewarding to see the birds fly off into their new homes, especially after seeing them grow from tiny 3-gram eggs and knowing the important role they'll play in the conservation of the species. In a joint conservation effort, 28 precious Pookilas born at Melbourne Zoo and Moonlit Sanctuary were returned to Bunurong Country at the Royal Botanic Gardens, Cranbourne. Pookilas have been in decline since their discovery in 1970 and are considered extinct at 7 of 12 known locations throughout Victoria. Reasons for this decline include fire, drought, and predation by feral cats and foxes. Environmental Systems Manager Ricardo Someo says the gardens are thrilled to reintroduce Pookilas since they were last seen in 1976.
The exciting thing about bringing Pookilas back on site, it's actually beneficial both ways. So the Pookilas brings a lot of ecological benefits to the site, and they disperse seed, they disperse beneficial fungus, and they dig the soil by constructing their burrows. So that's a bit of soil engineering for us as well.
Royal Botanic Gardens Cranbourne is home to over 450 native plant species in its bushland, with native grasses and landscapes which will provide many safe hiding spots for this little creature. There's also predator-proof fencing. Zoo's Victoria native rodent biologist Dr. Phoebe Burns says the reintroduction program is part of a wider effort to recover the species.
This Pookilas population at the Royal Botanic Gardens Cranbourne is going to be genetically representative of all the remaining Pookilas in Victoria. So it's going to act as an insurance population where if anything bad happens to those other remaining wild populations, we've got those genetics safely protected here at Cranbourne.
Moonlit Sanctuary Mammal Coordinator Keandra Debus admits it's been a fantastic collaboration after achieving breeding success.
Since the Pookilas Recovery Program began in 2022, between Moonlit Sanctuary and Melbourne Zoo, we've bred just shy of 100 Pookilas pups. These pups have varied from litter sizes, so we've had a single pup litter and up to 5 pup litters.
Outside the zoo walls, there was a species release of epic proportions. After driving 5 hours, jumping in a helicopter and trekking through the wilderness, Melbourne Zoo and Healesville Sanctuary staff took part in the latest Southern Corroboree Frog release at Mt Kosciuszko National Park. More than 3,000 frog eggs were placed into protected habitats, the most ever eggs released to save the critically endangered native species. Melbourne Zoo amphibian specialist keeper Ryan Mose says releases like this is what it's all about.
I really love coming in and hearing the choruses of males calling during the breeding season. Hopefully with these releases, people will be able to go to Mt Kosciuszko and hear that for themselves one day, just like we do in the recovery program here at Melbourne Zoo.
The Southern Corroboree Frog Recovery Program is a joint effort between Melbourne Zoo, Healesville Sanctuary and Taronga Conservation Society Australia. All 3 properties have breeding facilities to bolster numbers of this iconic yellow and black frog. And that's your threatened species good news from the zoos.